Dear students, we think by now you have all set to face the oncoming GCE O-level exam very well. You may have revised all the study points and also followed the instructions given by your teachers. The Department of English of National Institute of Education Sri Lanka is ready to help you further to face this English language paper more successfully and confidently. In this session, we hope to discuss some of the selected questions that may appear in the English language paper with you, and we hope that it will be a great support for you to face this English language paper very successfully. ඉතින් දුවේ පුතේ අපි අද ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂා ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයේ තෝරාගත් ප්‍රශ්න කීපයක් විස්තර කිරීමට මෙම වැඩසටහනෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. So dear children, let's go to the structure of the paper. We all know that you are given two papers as paper 1 and paper 2 for English language. Paper 1 has 8 questions and you will be getting 40 marks. Paper 2 also has 8 questions, and for this paper you can score 60 marks, and altogether we are going towards this 100. If we look at the structure of the first paper, we all know that the time allocated for the paper 1 is 1 hour, and paper 1 includes 8 questions, or we call them as 8 tests, and all these tests are compulsory. සියලුම ප්‍රශ්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔබ කළ යුතු වෙනවා. All these questions are compulsory. And you know that the total marks given for this paper is 40. So now you can see a detailed description about paper 1. So in the first column, you may see the question number, and in front of each number, we see the skills that will be tested. Of course, there will be a slight change of the order of these questions, but dear students, this is what you will be given for your exam, and this is how you will be tested. For example, question number 1 is based on your reading skills, and we know that the marks that will be given to question number 1 is 5. And question number 2 and question number 3, they are based on vocabulary, and you will be given 5 marks each. I think you all know question number 3 is based on a picture description, and there you have to fill some 10 blanks, and for each blank you are given a half mark, and altogether the total number will be 5. So this is what you will see in your paper, and especially I can show you that question number 6 and question number 8, they are the tests that will test your writing skills. And when we are testing your writing ability, the marks will be given to certain criteria. So you can see in this chart that is given as C and L. ඔගලන්ට දකින්න පුළුවන් අපි writing question එකක් මාක් කරද්දී නැත්නම් ලකුණු දෙද්දී ඒවට ලකුණු දෙන්නේ මේ C සහ L කියන දේවල් යටතේ. C means content, L mean language. So for content you are given 2 marks, and language you are given 3 marks, and we will be discussing how will you get marks for these things later. So, මේ content සහ language ඔබගේ අන්තර්ගතය සහ ඔබගේ භාෂාමය නිවරද්‍යතාව ගැන අපි පසුවටත් මේ ගැන වැඩිදුරටත් කතා කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. So, let's look at the paper 1. So, I have shown you the number of tests that you are going to face. Tests 1 to test 8. I have marked test 6 and test 8 in blue color because these are the test items that will test your writing ability. But if you come to test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7, what you are going to do is very simple. There will be some activities based on matching or gap filling, underlining, or sometimes you will get questions based on writing short answers. So, you see the paper is not that difficult. අපි හිතනවා ඉංග්‍රීසි ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රය ගොඩක් අමාරුයි කියලා. ඇත්තටම ඉංග්‍රීසි ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රය අමාරු නැහැ. ඔබට පේනවා ඇති. අපිට ටෙස්ට් අයිටම්ස් දෙකයි තියෙන්නේ. රචනා ඒවත් බොහොම පොඩි ඡේද තමයි මේ පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයේදී අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වන්නේ. All the others are very simple. Matching, gap filling, writing short answers, they will be the test items. So, you can be very confident because paper 1 is easier even than paper 2. Let's move on to question number 1. I told you that the question number 1 is based on your reading skills. And I am going to show you some examples taken from the past papers. Now, this example is taken from 2018 English language paper. What are you going to do here? Let's read the instructions. Match the following places with their descriptions. Write the correct letter in the blank. The first one is done for you. So, this is very easy to follow. Maybe that you will not follow the instructions, but dear students, in the paper, when you are doing one question, always the first answer is given for you. So, even though you may not understand the instructions, by looking at the sample answer, you can understand what to do in the given question. අපිට දීලා තියෙන instructions තේරුනේ නැති වුණත් දුවේ පුතේ හැම වෙලේම හැම ප්‍රශ්නයකටම එක උත්තරයක් paper එකේ අපිට සපයලා තියෙනවා. So, by looking at that answer, very easily you can understand what to do. So, in this particular question, what are we going to do is that we are going to match the places with their descriptions. So, what are the places given here? Hospital, university, library, temple, zoo and airport. So, most of these words are very familiar to us. So, let's see how can we write answers to a question like this. So, the first one has been done. A place where planes land and take off. Maybe sometimes, dear children, you will not understand the meaning of land and take off, but still you know the word plane. So, when you understand the word plane, it is very clearly suggested that planes can be related to the airport. So, answering this question is very easy. Let's go to the second one. A place of religious worship. Maybe we know the word religious. So, that is the only word we know, but still no worries, because when we know the word religious, the word that is related to religious must be the temple. A place where animals, birds, reptiles are kept for exhibition. Maybe you don't know the meaning of reptiles, but still there are two words to support you. They are the animals and birds. So with that, we can guess the answer must be zoo. Sick people are given medical treatment here. So there are some words that will help us. We have sick people, and also we know the word medical. So with all these examples or with all these words, we can very clearly guess the answer must be the hospital. An institution of higher education. So something related to education. So then definitely the place must be the university. The final one, books, magazines and newspapers are kept here, which is very easy, and you know definitely the answer must be the library. So we see that we should not have a very big knowledge about English to answer the first question. Maybe the knowledge of one word or two can definitely help you in such questions. අපිට හිතෙනවා දුවේ පුතේ සමහර වෙලාවට අපිට මේ වාක්‍ය කියවා ගන්න බැරි වෙයි කියලා. අපිට මුළු වාක්‍යයම කියවා ගන්න බැරි වුණත් අපිට ඒ වාක්‍යය ඇතුලේ තියෙන වචනයක් හෝ දෙකක් කියවා ගන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම පුළුවන්. මේ වචන දෙක තුන හොඳටම ප්‍රමාණවත් අපිට නිවැරදි උත්තරය සොයා ගන්න. ඒ වගේම මම මතක් කරන්න කැමතියි පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නය ගොඩක් අමාරු වුණොත් අපි ඒ ප්‍රශ්නය මතම රැඳිලා ඉන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඒක අමතක කරලා දෙවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නෙට යනවා. And we will try to answer the easy questions first. And after that, we can think of the difficult questions. අපි ලෙහෙසි ප්‍රශ්නවලට උත්තර දීලා ඉවර වෙනකොට අමාරු ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් හෝ එකක් ඉතිරි වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන වචනත් එක්ක අපිට ලෙහෙසියෙන්ම හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන් මොන වගේ පිළිතුරුද මේ අමාරු ප්‍රශ්නවලට අපි දමා ගන්න අවශ්‍ය කියලා. Therefore, answering such question is very easy. I will give you another example for question number 1. What do you find here? I have taken this question from the paper 2020. What are you going to do here is that you are going to match the given pictures with their relevant instructions. So by looking at the pictures, we understand that is a very easy question. So let's read the instructions first. Number 1, avoid fast food. The answer is given. Number 2, so wearing face mask. Face mask is a very popular word in our country because we had to face this problem of COVID. So we know the correct picture is picture number A. Wash your hands, that is very simple. Number 4, get your temperature checked. So maybe some will find this as a bit difficult instruction. So we can keep it aside. And we can try the next question. Use a hand sanitizer. We all know a hand sanitizer. So we can match this instruction with the picture number C. And then we can go to the next one. Number 6, maintain 2 meter distance. So definitely the answer must be picture number E. So after filling all these cages, we can go back to number 4, which will be somewhat difficult for you. That is, get your temperature checked. So then the remaining picture must be picture number D. So very easily you can fill that later. This is the way, children, that you have to answer this question. You can fill the easier ones first and later you can think of the difficult instructions or difficult words. So I will show you one last example. This question appeared in 2021 paper. So what are you going to do here? You are given some pictures and you are going to match these pictures with the names of the places given. So you see that the first question will be very easy. So we are starting with the reading question. The paper has several reading questions and they will start with a very simple question like this, question number 1, and then the difficulty level will increase throughout the paper when we go to other questions. So don't lose any mark for question number 1 because it is such an easy question. Okay, students. So we see what has happened to question number 1 throughout some years. We can see the way these papers have been set from 2018 to 2021. So in 2018, the question is about matching places with descriptions. In 2019, it is about matching notices with places. In 2020, the students had to match instructions with relevant pictures, and in 2021, the students had to match pictures with places. So let's hope this year also we will be getting a very easy question based on matching, and I am sure you will be able to answer all the questions correctly. Test 2 or sometimes test 4 will be based on grammar. ඔබගේ ව්‍යාකරණ හැකියාව මැනීම සඳහා දෙවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නය සමහර වෙලාවට හතරවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නය. බොහෝ අවුරුදුවලදී මේ ප්‍රශ්නය මාරු වෙනවා. සමහර අවස්ථාවල ප්‍රශ්නය අංක 2, සමහර අවස්ථාවල සමහර වර්ෂවල මේ ප්‍රශ්නය ප්‍රශ්න අංක 4 සඳහා පැමිණෙනවා. What should we know about this question? That will be testing your grammar knowledge. Most of the time, the testing items can be prepositions and pronouns, but sometimes some other things can also be tested. I will show you some examples. Test type. What do you mean by the test type? The test type means the paragraph or the dialogues that will be given in the paper, and there you have to select the best answer. So that is the thing that we call it as the text type. So sometimes you will be given a simple passage, a text or a paragraph, or sometimes this will come as a part of a letter, or it can also be a dialogue and you are going to fill in the blanks. So what kind of grammar knowledge will be tested? It can be prepositions. So please be aware of very simple prepositions and their meaning. I have given you some examples like in, on, between, under, behind, of, for and to. So they are very simple prepositions. We have been practicing these simple prepositions from our childhood, maybe from grade 3 onwards. So just have a revision on these simple prepositions So, they will be very helpful when you are answering paper 1. And not only prepositions, you have to be thorough with your knowledge about pronouns. So, the pronouns, how to use these pronouns as a subject or object pronouns or maybe possessive pronouns, demonstrative, and also have a good revision on reflexive pronouns. And sometimes children, you will also be getting questions based on verbs, adjectives and articles. Let's look at some examples. This table describes how this test item appeared in some of the past papers. In 2017, the students had to complete a dialogue with the correct verb form. In 2018, again the students had to complete a dialogue, but that time it was based on prepositions. In 2019, the students had to edit a text. We'll discuss this question item later. So, the students had to edit a text based on verbs, articles and adjectives. In 2020, it was completing a text with pronouns, and in 2021, it was a dialogue and the students had to complete this dialogue with correct prepositions. So, now you can see how this question appeared in the papers from 2017 to 21. Therefore, you should have a very good knowledge about these areas in order to answer this question very confidently and successfully. Now, this is one example. There is a dialogue and you have to complete the dialogue with appropriate preposition. This is one example. The second example, what do you find here? You are given 3 options and you have to find the appropriate pronoun to fill in the blanks and to make the paragraph meaningful. So, for example, why do people keep cats as pets? So, then in the second sentence, we are going to start the second sentence with a blank. So, then we should have a better understanding about subject pronouns. You would agree that cats are excellent companions. So, throughout this paragraph, we can see the pronouns are in use and you have to be very good in your understanding, your knowledge and your awareness about pronouns. Editing කියන්නේ දුවේ පුතේ අපිට ලබා දී තිබෙන ඡේදයේ සමහර වචන වැරදි විදිහටයි පාවිච්චි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපි මොකද්ද කළ යුත්තේ? අපි මෙම වචනයේ නිවැරදි ස්වරූපය එයට ඉදිරියෙන් ලියන්න ඕන. මේකට තමයි අපි එඩිටින් කියලා කියන්නේ. බලන්න දැන් මේ තියෙන උදාහරණය දිහා. What do you find in this example? Each underlined word, I am reading the instructions. Each underlined word in the following text is incorrect. වැරදි වචනය අපිට අන්ඩර්ලයින් කරලම දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපිට ඒක ගැන ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. අපිට තියෙන්නේ මේ අන්ඩර්ලයින් කරලා දුන්න වර්ඩ් එක. මේ වර්ඩ් එකේ නිවැරදි වර්ඩ් එක තමයි අපිට ඉදිරියෙන් ලියන්න වෙන්නේ. So write the correct word in the space provided. The first one is done for you. So that is very helpful. The first answer is given. The grade 9 students of our school have planned. So that is wrong, because have planned to play a cricket match yesterday. So it is yesterday. So we know then have is wrong. So the correct form of the verb is had. it is given as the example answer. So then we are going to correct other forms of verbs as well. Not only verbs, we find articles, and also we find prepositions, and also we find adverbs here. So it is a mixture of these grammatical knowledge. So you have to be thorough with all these things. So these are the things that you have to be very careful when you are writing your answer for question number 2, or maybe it will come as question number 4. අනුපිළිවෙල වෙනස් වුණත් ප්‍රශ්න අංක 2ට හෝ ප්‍රශ්න අංක 4ට අපිට ලැබෙන්නේ අපගේ ව්‍යාකරණ දැනුම ගැන බලන ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ නිසා දුවේ පුතේ අපි බොහොම හොඳින් මේ ප්‍රශ්නය සඳහා සූදානම් වෙන්න ඕන. What do you think of question number 3, or we call it as test 3? This is a very popular question among all you. I am very much sure that you may have done a lot of revision work related to this question. So we all know that this is a question based on a picture. So we are going to describe this picture. This is very easy, but we have to be very careful. So what are we going to do when we start answering the question number 3? Number 1, we have to study the picture very well, because we should know the words related to the given picture. And also you have to notice that the first sentence and the last sentence in the paragraph do not have any blank. Therefore, you can very easily get a good idea about the given paragraph. And also, children, you have to understand the sentence structure, whether it is given in the simple present tense or is it based on the past tense. You have to be very careful. And think of the missing verbs or the helping verbs, or they can be nouns or adjectives. So you can again do the easy one first, and then while writing your answers, because there are 10 words, therefore when you are writing the answers, cut off the words that you have already used, then very clearly you can see the remaining words, and with that you can fill the other blanks. I will show you an example after looking at this table. So these are the examples taken from 4 past papers: paper 2018, 2019, 2020 and 2021. So the question number 3 is the same. There is no change in the order. And in all these 4 questions, the task was to complete a text based on a picture, and the words were given. So look at this example. As I have told you, look at the paragraph. The first sentence and the last sentence, there are no blanks here. So that helps us to get a better understanding about the picture and about the paragraph. This is a picture of a kitchen. So now, as students, we should know the words used in kitchen. And how does the paragraph end? The kitchen looks neat and tidy. So in between there are 11 blanks. As usual, one blank has been filled, already filled, and we have to think of the other blanks. So read the paragraph several times. Read the words several times. I am very much sure that most of the words given in these questions are very much familiar to you all. So start with the easy ones. Cut off the words that you have used with a pencil, and then you can attempt the difficult ones. මම හිතනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ හැමෝටම බොහොම පහසු ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙයි කියලා. පළවෙනි වාක්‍යය සහ අවසාන වාක්‍ය අපිට සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ මගින් අපිට මේ දීලා තියෙන පැරග්‍රාෆ් එක ගැන, ඒ වගේම පිච් එක ගැන හොඳ අවබෝධයක් ලැබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම දීලා තියෙන වචන ගොඩක් දුරට අපිට බොහොම familiar words අපි කියනවා, අපි බොහොම දන්න වචන. අපි දන්න වචන වලින් මේකේ gaps fill කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. And at the same time you take a pencil and you cut off the words that we have used. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට අමාරු වචන අරගෙන අවශ්‍ය තැනට දමලා මේ blanks ටික fill කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So this is a very easy question, students. You can score full marks for this question. I will show you another example. So I think the picture is clear. It is about a library, and we see some people are reading, and there are some objects related to the library. So very easily you can fill in the blanks. So far we have discussed questions from question number 1 to number 4. And let's talk about the question number 5, or we call it as test 5. Test 5 is a reading test. Your reading ability will be tested here. So what are we going to do here? We have to read a simple paragraph, and we have to transfer some information into another form. Maybe we are reading the paragraph and transferring some information into a table. Or maybe we are filling the blanks of a summary based on the given paragraph. So in 2018, I am starting from the bottom of the table. In 2018, we had to complete a summary after reading the given paragraph. In 2019 also, we had to complete a summary. What do we have in 2020? A paragraph is given, and then the students are expected to complete a table. I will show you some examples. Even in 2021, a paragraph is given, and the students are expected to complete a table. So this is an example. ප්‍රශ්නාංක පහේදී දරුවනි අපි කරන්නේ අපිට දීලා තියෙන පොඩි ඡේදයක් කියවලා මේ ඡේදයේ තියෙන සමහර කරුණු වෙනත් වගුවකට එහෙම නැත්නම් පොඩි සාරාංශයකට අපි මේ කරුණු එකතු කරනවා. හරිම ලේසි ප්‍රශ්නයක්. අපි මේක කරන විදිය හරියටම දැනගෙන සිටියොත්. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට අපි මේ පැරග්‍රාෆ් එක දිහා අධ්‍යයනයක් කරමු. Read the text and complete the table given below. The first one is done for you. What are we going to do in this paragraph? We can see the paragraph is given here, and below that there is a table with blanks. So now we know we are going to take some points, some keywords, some information from this paragraph, and we are going to complete the table with those points. For example, the questions in the table. Number 1, the name of the country. Number 2, the smallest island. Number 3, the number of ethnic groups. So those are the questions, and we have to find the answers to these questions and complete the table. So what is this paragraph about? It is about a country called Malta. So the paragraph goes like this. Malta is a country with 3 islands. They are the islands of Malta itself and the smaller island of Gozo and Comino. The area of the Malta island is given, and then the next island, its area is given, then the third island, its area is also given. After that, the paragraph is talking about two ethnic groups in Malta and their names are given. Now let's go to the table. What is the first question? The name of the country. Where can you find the answer, students? The first question and the first answer is coming from the very beginning of the paragraph. Malta is a country with 3 islands. So the first answer comes from the first line. So let's go to the second question. The smallest island. We have to read the second part. The square kilometers for each island is given and we have to guess the smallest island. So that is in the second part of the paragraph. And we understand that the smallest island is Gozo or Comino. What is the answer? Gozo 67 square kilometers, Comino 3.5 square kilometers. By comparing these two, we understand the smallest island is Comino. What is the third question? The number of ethnic groups. The answer is just below that. Dear students, I think you can see the way they have given these questions. If it is the first question, you will find the answer in the very beginning of the paragraph. The answer for the second question can be found just after the answer of the first question. The answer for the third question can be found just after the answer for the second question. Therefore, there is no need of reading every part of the paragraph, but if you read the paragraph in an orderly manner, very easily you will find the answers for these questions. මේ වගේ පැරග්‍රාෆ් එකක් දීලා ප්‍රශ්න අහනකොට දුවේ පුතේ අපිට තේරෙනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නේ ක්‍රමානුකූලව. පළවෙනිම වාක්‍ය දෙක තුනෙන් පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නය අහද්දී ඊට පහලින් සමහර විට දෙවෙනි සෙන්ටෙන්ස් එකේදී තුන්වෙනි සෙන්ටෙන්ස් එකෙන් තමයි දෙවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නය අහන්නේ. තුන්වෙනි ප්‍රශ්නයට එන්නේ ඊට පහලින් තියෙන සෙන්ටෙන්ස් එකකින්. මේ නිසා අපිට දෙන පැරග්‍රාෆ් එකේ හැම තැනින්ම මේකට කියවීමක් කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. උඩ ඉඳන් පහළට බොහොම පිළිවෙලට කියවාගෙන ගියොත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නවලට බොහොම පිළිවෙලින් පිළිතුරු ටික අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ ප්‍රශ්නයට පිළිතුරු සොයා ගැනීමේදී මෙම ක්‍රමානුකූල බව මෙම පිළිවෙල ඊටාම වැදගත් වෙනවා. මේක හොඳින් සිහියේ තබා ගන්න. මේ වගේ රීඩිං පැරග්‍රාෆ් එකකට අපි answers ලියනකොට. So it will be very helpful for you. Now I am going to pay my attention to question number 7 because it is also based on reading. So this reading is more difficult than the reading paragraph that we have just talked about. And this reading will be longer than the previous test item. And after reading this paragraph, most probably you will have to answer MCQs, multiple choice questions. මෙම paragraph එක කියවීමෙන් පසුව අපිට බොහෝ වේලාවට MCQs, multiple choice බහුවරණ ප්‍රශ්න සඳහා උත්තර දීමට සිදු වෙනවා. අපිට වෙන්නේ උත්තර 3ක් හෝ 4ක් තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක වඩාත්ම නිවැරදි පිළිතුර සඳහා යටින් ඉරක් ඇඳීමට සිදු වෙනවා. මේ ක්‍රමේ තමයි පහුගිය අවුරුදු කීපෙම අපේ ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රවල අපි දුටුවේ. For example, look at this table. I am starting from the bottom. 2017 reading comprehension. After the reading there are some short answers and then there's a sentence completion, and after that MCQs. In 2018 again you had to write short answers, you had to complete some sentences and then some MCQs. When it comes to 2019, 2020 and 2021, we find after this reading passage the students had to answer MCQs. So this is very easy. So you can read the paragraph and underline the most appropriate answer. Right. So this is about test item number 7. What about test item 6 and test item 8? As I have already told you, test 6 and test 8, they are based on writing. Test 6, the text type is writing a note or a notice, or maybe it can be based on writing a reply to a letter or an invitation. So in this answer, when we are writing an answer to this question, we should know the structure of writing a note and also the structure of writing a notice. So these are the things that you have to know when you are writing about a notice. When you are writing a notice, you have to think of the venue, the place, the date and the time, and the phrases like all are invited. And also when we are writing the note, we can put the date, but there's no need of a salutation like dear Ramani. There's no need of dear. The salutation is not needed. Let's look at this example. The question is, you are the secretary of the nature club of your school. You have organized a film show on nature. Write a notice inviting all students of grade 11 to participate in this event. Use about 40 to 50 words. Include date, time and place. Dear students, when you are writing this, you have to be very careful about your content. What are you going to write? You have to say that your nature club has organized a film show. You have to talk about the date and the time and the place, and also you have to invite some audience for this particular event. All these facts should be included in your notice. And also you must not forget that the required length of the notice, it should be between 40 to 50 words. I have shown you two examples of writing a notice. So we have written notice and underlined that, and look at the first example. It is given as a simple paragraph. The Nature Club of Isuru Vidyalaya has organized a film show on nature. It will be held on the 25th of May 2023 at 2 p.m. in the school auditorium. All the students of grade 11 are invited to this event. And after that, we have to show the person who has written that. So definitely when it is a club or an association, the secretary has to sign there. Now the same notice can be written in a different manner. Look at the other example. The Nature Club of Isuru Vidyalaya has organized a film show on nature to raise awareness on how to protect it or how to protect nature. So, other points have been given in a very simple point form: date, time, then the place. And after that, we can invite all the students of grade 11 are invited to this important event. You can use these formats, but remember your notice should have that required length, 40 to 50 words. ඔබ මේ දකින්නේ අපිට notice එකක් ලියන්න පුළුවන් විවිධ structures දෙකක්. අපිට notice එකක් ලියද්දී මේ notice එක paragraph එකක් විදිහට ලියන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම අපිට දිනය, වේලාව සහ මෙය පවත්වන ස්ථානය point form එකේ දීලා ලියන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි දුවේ පුතේ වචන 40ත් 50ත් අතර යන සීමාව හොඳින් මතක තියාගෙන තමයි අපි මේ ප්‍රශ්නයට පිළිතුරු ලියන්නට උවමනා කරන්නේ. Right. Let's go to the other test item that can appear in the same question, writing a note. I told you that you can write the date, but there's no need of writing a salutation. You can just start writing with the name of your friend. In this note, we have started it with Nimalka, that is the name of the friend. I saw a notice on a film show on nature organized by the Nature Club. It will be held on the 25th of May at 2 p.m. in the school auditorium. I am interested in participating in this event. Will you join? Amaya. So we can see we have only included the most important details in the note. We have not written anything which is unnecessary. අපි නෝට් එකක් ලියනකොට දුවේ පුතේ කිසිම වෙලාවක අනවශ්‍ය දේවල් අපි ලියන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද නෝට් එකක් ලියන දෙයින් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වන්නේ අත්‍යවශ්‍යම වඩාම වැදගත් පණිවිඩය ලබන්නාට ලබා දීම. මේ කියවන්නාට ලබා දීම. මේ නිසා අපි කිසිම අනවශ්‍ය විස්තරයක් දමන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි අත්‍යවශ්‍යම විස්තර සියල්ල අපේ නෝට් එක ඇතුලේ අන්තර්ගත විය යුතුයි. So I saw a notice on the film show organized by this Nature Club. So the date is this. It will be held in the school auditorium at this time. So I'm interested in joining this, and the friend is asking her friend to join this as well. So අපිට ඊටාම වැදගත් පණිවිඩය ලබා දීම තමයි අපේ නෝට් එකේ අරමුණ වන්නේ. ඒ වගේම ආයෙත් මතක් කරනවා අපිට දීලා ලබා දී තිබෙන වචන සීමාව ඇතුලේ අපි මෙය ලිවිය යුතුයි. Right. This is about writing a note or writing a notice. What about the last question? Test number 8. In test number 8, what we are going to do is that we are going to write a small paragraph, a simple paragraph about a certain topic given to us in the paper. I have given you some topics that have appeared in our past papers. Let's read them. An unforgettable day in my life. An interesting person I know. A helpful person in my life. A place I like to visit. My best friend. The book that I like most. An unforgettable incident in my life. Good health habits in the classroom. The place where I live. The last one is how I spend my free time. Dear students, when we come to test number 8, we have to be very careful about certain things before we start writing this answer. For example, look at the first topic again. An unforgettable day in my life. Right. We are going to write about an unforgettable day in my life. Maybe my last birthday. Maybe when my father gave me an unbelievable gift. All of a sudden, I have been waiting for this gift, but I never thought that my father would give it to me that soon. But all of a sudden, my father gave me that gift, and it was the most unforgettable day in my life. So, what is the tense that we are going to use? We have to be very careful. So, when it is about an unforgettable day, we have to use past tense. And what facts are we going to write? And also the reasons why. Why do I say that this is the unforgettable day in my life? So, think of those things when we are writing about this particular topic. An interesting person I know. So, maybe that is your friend, maybe a very popular writer. So, we have to talk about that person, about your reasons, why do you like him. So, the tense must be simple present tense. You have to be very careful about these facts. If I go to the title like the book that I like most, maybe you can use the simple present tense, or sometimes you may have to use past tense as well. The place where I live, you are going to talk about your town, your city or your village. So, what are you going to write? You have to introduce the place where you live. Then you have to talk about the things that you find in your village or in your town, and the places of interest if you have anything, and also the normal information, details about your city or town, and whether you like it or not. So, think of these facts before you write your answer, because especially I want to say that you have to write simple sentences. අපි මේ උත්තරයක් ලියනකොට මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයකට වඩා බැරෑරුම් ඉතා දිග වාක්‍ය ලියන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අපි කරන්න ඕනි බොහොම සරල නිවැරදි වාක්‍ය මේ සඳහා භාවිතා කරන එකයි වඩාම සුදුසු. ඒකට හේතුව තමයි දුවේ පුතේ මේ වාක්‍යවල මොනවා හෝ වැරැද්දක්, ව්‍යාකරණ වැරැද්දක්, අපේ ස්පෙලිං වල වැරැද්දක් තිබුණොත් අපිට ලකුණු නොලැබී යනවා. මේ නිසා අපිට කියන්න ඕනි දේ ඉතාම සරලව බොහොම සිම්පල් සෙන්ටෙන්ස් එකකින් ලියනකොට වැරදීම් වෙනවා අඩුයි. ඒ වගේම ඉතාම ලේසියෙන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ ලකුණු ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි බලමු මේ සඳහා ඔබට ලකුණු ලබා දෙන විදිහ. මෙන්න මේ ක්‍රමය තමයි අපිට තියෙන්නේ. මේ වගේ රයිටින් ක්වෙස්චන් එකකදී ලකුණු ලබා දීමේ ක්‍රමය පටිපාටිය තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. You are given 2 marks for the content. Content ඔබ ලියන කරුණු අන්තර්ගතය ලකුණු 2ක් ලැබෙනවා. සහ language ලකුණු 3ක් ලැබෙනවා. So look at the way you get these 2 marks for content. For question number 6, that is writing a note or a notice. So for question number 6, all points should be included, then you will be given 2 marks. If only some points are included, you will be given only 1 mark. If you just copy the question or what you write is not that relevant, you will not be given marks. If we go to question number 8, that is writing a small paragraph. The 2 marks will be given only if you write meaningful paragraphs with required length. the number of words. That is very important. 1 marks will be given only when there's insufficient content, and 0 will be given when the question is copied or what you write is totally irrelevant. Language, 3 marks. The full marks, 3 marks, will be given when there are no errors. When you have written well-connected sentences, correct spelling and punctuation. 2 marks will be given when there are some errors with well-connected sentences, and there can be some errors in spelling and punctuation. Only 1 mark will be offered. Only a few errors appear in your answer. So, dear children, you have to be very careful with your language, with your spellings, capitalization and even punctuation. ඉතින් දුවේ පුතේ මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයකට උත්තර ලියද්දී ව්‍යාකරණවල නිවැරදිතාවය, ඒ වගේම අකුරුවල නිවැරදිතාවය අපි කියනවා ස්පෙලිං කියලා. ඒ වගේම capitalization, capital අකුරු අවස්ථාවට උචිතව යොදා ගැනීම. මේ වගේ දේවල් ගැන විශේෂයෙන්ම සැලකිලිමත් වන්න වෙනවා. එහෙම නැති වුණොත් මේ ලකුණු 3 අපිට අහිමි වෙනවා. මේ නිසා තමයි අපි හැම වෙලේම ඕගොල්ලන්ට අවවාද කරන්නේ වඩා දිගු බැරෑරුම් වාක්‍යවලට නොගිහින් බොහොම සරල, බොහොම කෙටි වාක්‍යවලින් මේ ප්‍රශ්න අංක 2ේම තියෙන උත්තර වලට පිළිතුරු සපයන්න කියලා. එහෙම නැති වුණොත් අපි ලියන වාක්‍ය 5ේම යම් කිසි ව්‍යාකරණවල වැරැද්දක් තිබුණොත්, එහෙම නැත්නම් අපේ capitalization වල, spelling වල වැරැද්දක් තිබුණොත් මේ ලකුණු 3 අපිට අහිමි වෙනවා. මේ ලකුණු 3 අහිමි නොකර මේ ලකුණු 3ම ලබා ගැනීමට තියෙන ලේසිම ක්‍රමය තමයි we can write very simple, very short sentences without any error. So best of luck with all these questions in paper 1. I think that you will be able to face this paper 1 very confidently if you know how to write and what to write. We are going to talk about some selected questions, and we want to help you with these questions, especially because we are going to discuss how to answer these questions more successfully. If you go to paper 2, this is the structure of the question paper 2. The time allocated for paper 2 is 2 hours. Paper 2 includes 8 test items. Just like paper 1, paper 2 also has 8 questions. So paper 1 goes with question number 1 to 8. Paper 2 starts with question number 9. And it goes until question number 16. So that means paper 2 also has 8 test items. And all these test items are compulsory. සියලුම ප්‍රශ්නවලට පිළිතුරු සැපයීම අනිවාර්ය වේ. And test 14 and test 16 are different from other questions because test 14 has 2 options, 2 choices. You can select one choice. And test 16 has 4 choices, and you can select one option or one choice. The total mark coming for paper 2 is 60. So let's have a look at these questions. So as in the paper 1, in paper 2 also we find this particular order, but sometimes there can be slight changes in this order. There can be slight changes in this order, but still these items will be tested. Test 14 and test 16, again I have colored them using a different color because these are the test items that will be testing your writing ability. Test 9, it is about vocabulary. Test 10 may be grammar and language functions. Test 11 is based on your reading ability. Test 12 will be again based on grammar and language functions. Test 13 and test 15 again will be based on your reading skills. So let's talk about test 14 and 16. As I have told you, test 14 has two options or two choices. Test 14 වලට යනකොට දුවේ පුතේ අපිට තෝරා ගැනීමේ අවස්ථාවක් ලබා දී තියෙනවා. අපිට A සහ B විදිහට B වශයෙන් A සහ B වශයෙන් අපිට තෝරා ගැනීමක් තියෙනවා. ඔබට වඩාත් පහසු question number A එහෙම නැත්නම් part A නම් ඔබට part A සඳහා ඔබගේ පිළිතුර ලියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔබට වඩා පහසු part B නම් ඔබට part B සඳහා ඔබගේ පිළිතුර ලියා දක්වීමට අවස්ථාව තියෙනවා. What is part A and what is part B? Normally for part A we get a letter. Most probably it can be a formal letter, official letter, but sometimes there can be a question based on an informal letter as well. So it is about letter writing. And question B is writing a short paragraph using graphical information. There will be some graphical information and you have to study that given graph and write a paragraph describing it. So these are the two options or two choices given to you under test 14. So let's talk about choice A. අපි පළවෙනි තෝරා ගැනීම නැත්තම් part A වෙත අවධානය යොමු කරමු. මම කිව්වා විදිහට පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේදී එහෙම නැත්තම් පළවෙනි කොටසේදී අපිට ලියන්න තියෙන්නේ රාජකාරී ලිපියක් එහෙම නැත්තම් පෞද්ගලික ලිපියක්. බොහෝ දුරට අපි ලෑස්ති විය යුත්තේ රාජකාරී ලිපියකට. අපි මේ දෙවර්ගය ගැනම කතා කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. So when you are writing letters, you should know the format of writing a letter. So when it is a very personal letter, a letter you are writing to your friend, that will be very informal. You can write your address and the date, and you can just write your salutation with the name of your friend as given in the example, Dear Sanjay. And after that comes the body of the letter. So the body of the letter must be consisted of the facts required by the given question. අපගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අපිට guidelines දීලා තියෙනවා. ඔබ යහළුවාට ලිපියක් ලියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ කාරණය සඳහා. ඒ අවශ්‍ය කාරණා සියල්ල ඔබගේ මේ ලිපිය තුල අන්තර්ගත විය යුතුයි. ඊට අමතරව ඔබට අවශ්‍ය නම් ඔබගේ පෞද්ගලික තොරතුරු කිහිපයක් මෙහි දැක්විය හැකියි. No problem. But very specially, you have to include all the guidelines given in the question. If you are talking about the birthday party given by your friend, you have to talk about the birthday party, how you enjoyed it, and the things that you did. All this information should be included in your letter. But when you are writing a formal letter, the format is different. Look at the given example. You have to write your address and the date, and then we have to write the receiver's designation and his address. So, in this letter, my address is number 23, Pubudumawatha, Kurunegala, and also I have put the date. And then I am writing the designation of the receiver and his address. The manager, Sarasavi Bookshop, Kurunegala. So, then comes the salutation, dear sir. And don't forget the punctuation marks in these places. They are very important. And normally, when we are writing an official letter, after the salutation, we have to introduce our subject. It can be a request, it can be an inquiry, it can be an invitation. So, this subject should be written as a headline in the letter, and you can underline it. In my letter, it is requesting information about the prices of English storybooks, since I am writing to the manager of a certain bookshop. This is my requirement. I want to request some prices of storybooks. So, I am writing that as my subject, and I have underlined it. So, after that, I can write my need in the body of the letter, and after writing all these things, I have to thank them, and then I am writing like thank you, yours faithfully. I put my signature and the name. Children, this is one format of writing a formal letter, or else you can put all these addresses and the ending of the letter to the left side. Both ways are quite okay, and you can score marks writing your letter in both ways. That is up to you. දුවේ පුතේ අපි official letter එකක් රාජකාරී ලිපියක් ලිවීමේදී අපගේ address එක, දිනය වගේම ලබන්නාගේ තනතුර සහ ඔහුගේ ලිපිනයත් අපිට අපේ ලිපියේ ලියන්නට වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපේ salutation එක සහ අප මේ ලිපිය ලියන්නේ කුමන අරමුණක් සඳහාද? මෙය අපේ subject එක විදිහට අපි salutation එකෙන් පසුව අපිට ලියන්නට වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන් අපිට මේ රාජකාරී ලිපිය ක්‍රම දෙකකට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. ඔබට පේන විදිහට මගේ ලිපිනේ මම දකුණු පැත්තේ ලියලා තියෙනවා, ලබන්නාගේ ලිපිනේ වම් පැත්තේ ලියලා තියෙනවා. මේ ලිපිය මම ඉවර කරනවා ආපහු දකුණු පැත්තෙන්. මෙහෙම නැතුව මේ සියලුම දේ වම් පැත්තට අරගෙනත් අපිට මේ ලිපිය ලියන්න පුළුවන්. මගේ ලිපිනයත් මම වම් පැත්තෙන් ලියනවා. ඊට යටින් ලබන්නාගේ තනතුර සහ ඔහුගේ ලිපිනයත් වම් පැත්තේ, salutation එක, subject එක හැමදේම වම් පැත්තේ. මම ලිපියත් අවසන් කරනවා වම් පැත්තට අරගෙන. Thank you, yours faithfully, my signature and my name, I can take them to the left side. මේ කුමන ආකාරයෙන් ලිව්වත් මේ format එක නිවැරදි. ඔබට ඒ සඳහා අදාළ ලකුණු ලබා දීමට හැකි. මේ නිසා ඔබ මේ දෙවිදිහෙන් කැමති විදිහකට, ඔබට පහසු විදිහකට මේ පිළිතුර ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන්. හොඳයි. I think this is quite enough about this particular question. So this is about choice A. And now let's go to choice B or option B. I told you that is about writing a short paragraph using graphical information. Graphical information කියන විට දුවේ පුතේ මේ graphical information විවිධ ආකාරයෙන් අපගේ ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයේ තිබෙන්නට පුළුවන්. මම ඔබට පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා උදාහරණ 3ක්. What is number 1? This is a pie chart. Number 2, the second example is a bar graph. And the third example is a table. So our question will come based on any of these graphical charts. So we have to be thorough with reading pie charts, reading bar graphs, and also reading tables. Now look at this example. The following bar graph shows the favorite sports of grade 11 students of Isuru Mahavidyalaya, Panadura. Study the graph and fill in the blanks. So what are we going to do when we get a question like this? So first of all, we have to examine the given bar very carefully. So we have a vertical axis and also we have a horizontal axis. In the vertical axis, you can see the number of the students, and in the horizontal axis, you will see some sports loved by these children. So we have volleyball, and 15 students like volleyball. We find some 25 students like cricket, 10 students like basketball, and 30 students like football, and 10 students like badminton. So after reading this graph and after understanding the facts of this graph, we are going to write something about this paragraph, or we are going to complete some uncompleted sentences about this graph. Look at this example. So you can introduce the graph first. The above bar graph shows, what does the above bar graph show? It shows the favorite sports of grade 11 students of Isuru Mahavidyalaya. So dear children, we are going to introduce what this graph about. අපි පළමුවෙන්ම කරන්නේ මේ bar graph එක අපි introduce කරනවා. මේ bar graph එකෙන් පෙන්වන්නේ ඉසුරු මහාවිද්‍යාලයේ 11 වසරේ ළමයි කැමති විවිධ ක්‍රීඩා. මේක තමයි මේ විදිහට තමයි අපි මේ graph එක පළමුවෙන්ම හඳුන්වන්නේ. So we can write the above bar graph shows the favorite sports of grade 11 students of Isuru Mahavidyalaya. Then you can introduce the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. The horizontal axis here, it shows the sports loved by the students, different sports. And the vertical axis shows the number of students who love these sports. So that can be our introductory sentences about this bar graph. Then you can write the information that we read from the given bar graph. For example, we can start with some numbers. 15 students like volleyball, 25 students like cricket, 10 students like basketball, 30 students like football, again 10 students like badminton. And then you can talk about the highest number and the least number. The most number of students like to play football, and equal number of students like to play basketball and badminton, because both of these sports are allowed by 10 students each. So this is what we are going to write in describing this bar graph. This is also a very easy question if you practice this question very well, because all your information, all the details needed for the paragraph, they are given in the bar graph or the pie chart or in the table. What you are going to do is write in them in a paragraph. Therefore, dear students, this question also is very easy. You can select either writing the letter or writing a description about this bar graph. Dear students, now let's go to the last test item of paper 2, test 16, that is also based on your writing skills. As I have told you, in this question also there are many choices. Your ability to write an article for a newspaper, an essay, or a speech given on a certain topic, a dialogue or a story will be tested in this question. I am telling this again, children. You can write an article for a newspaper, or you can write an essay, or else you can write a speech on a given topic, or else you can write a dialogue or a story. There are many choices here. You can select whatever the option that you are comfortable with. So, the technique of this question is guided writing. What is the meaning of guided writing? You may have seen in this question, when the question is given, there are some guidelines on how to write your answer or how to write your composition. So, you have to write your essay or write your article or the speech based on the given guidelines. That's why we call it as guided writing. So, you have to use your English knowledge very creatively and innovatively in this written communication, and in this way you will be able to write compositions. This is one option that you can have. You have to write an article to a newspaper. These are some of the questions that have appeared in our past papers. Let's look at them. Importance of learning another language. Under this topic, these are the guidelines. Your first language and other languages you can learn. The language that you would like to learn and its advantages. You also have to state how would you use it for higher studies. Therefore, dear students, if you are going to write an article based on this, you have to include many facts under the given guidelines. This is how you will be given marks under content. Now, the right side of this slide, there is another suggestion. Public property belongs to all of us. So, what are the guidelines? What public property means? You have to provide with examples. Use of this public property and how to protect them. So, you have to provide many examples when you are writing your article for this. The natural beauty of Sri Lanka. Again, you are given guidelines. The location, Indian Ocean, golden beaches along the coast, rivers, mountains, waterfalls, forests and wildlife. You have to provide many examples for these things and how to protect the natural beauty. So, these are the guidelines that you have to follow. Last one, eating healthy food lead to a healthy life. what healthy food means, what unhealthy food means, why one should eat healthy food, how it leads to a healthy life. Before you writing these articles or essays, it is better to collect information related to each guidelines. It is better to jot down, to sketch your answer in the paper with some keywords the things that you remember. For example, if you are going to write about public property, so under examples of the public property, you can write a list of public property that you know. And the use of public property, maybe you can sketch out what is the use of this railway system of Sri Lanka, what is the use of these schools, temples, or maybe the public parks, and how useful they are. You can just sketch out your answer. So after planning your answer, you can look at your sketch and write a very good answer or a composition. So then it will be more successful than writing your answer all of a sudden without collecting your information. ඉතින් දුවේ පුතේ මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයකට පිළිතුරු සපයද්දී ගයිඩ්ලයින්ස් වල තියෙන කරුණු අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අපගේ රචනාවේ ලිවීමට අපට සිදු වෙනවා. මේ නිසා එකපාරටම මේ වගේ එසේ එකක් ආටිකල් එකක් ලියනවට වඩා ඉතා වැදගත් වෙනවා පොඩි කටු සටහනක් අපි පළමුවෙන්ම මේ ගැන තබා ගැනීම. public property ගැන අපි ලියනවා නම් මොනවද public property? අපි examples ටික පොඩ්ඩක් කටුවට ලියා ගන්නවා. මේ වගේ advantages, usefulness අපි ඊළඟට පොඩ්ඩක් කටුවට ලියා ගන්නවා. සහ කොහොමද මේවා protect කරන්නේ? Public awareness, එහෙම නැත්නම් instructions, teaching the importance of public property among the school children, giving an awareness to the school children. මේ වගේ දේවල් බොහොම කටුවට අපි පොඩි දල සටහනක් ඇඳ ගත්තොත් ඊට පස්සුව බොහොම ලේසියෙන් අපිට මේ අපි පළමුව සූදානම් කරගත්ත දල සටහන දිහා බලාගෙන ඒ මගින් ඉතා සාර්ථකව අපිට මේ ආටිකල් එක එහෙම නැත්නම් එසේ එක හොඳින් ලියා ගැනීමට පුළුවන් වෙනවා. So try this method very easily. You will be able to write this answer with all the confidence. So these are some essay topics. An essay on sports as an important part of students' life. Again, the guidelines are given. The place for sports in the school calendar. You are given sport meets, then you can participate in matches and tournaments. You are going to elaborate on these things. Facilities provided, like providing playgrounds, courts for netball and basketballs. So you can analyze and elaborate these facts as well. Importance. It promotes team spirit, good health, friendship, unity, leadership, and also it will train you how to accept victory or defeat in a very balanced mentality. So you can write all these things with examples. What is the second topic? Write an essay on sources of information. Again, the guidelines are given. Dear students, when you are writing your essay, when you are writing your story, or when you are writing your newspaper article, it is very important how you organize your writing. If you organize your writing in such a way, you can have very organized or well-planned paragraphs. So that will be a good feature of a successful composition. So maybe that your guidelines will help you to separate your composition into several paragraphs. So please pay attention to proper paragraphing as well, because there will be some marks for the good organization of your writing. the third option, the third choice of this test 16 or question 16 is write the speech you would make at the school assembly on the effects of using polythene. As usual, the guidelines are given. Why do people use polythene? How the use of polythene affects the environment? Steps that you could take to prevent the harmful effects of using polythene. So, when you are giving a speech, first of all, you have to greet and address the gathering. If it is a school assembly, you have to greet your principal and the teachers, and also you have to greet your brothers and sisters, your friends. And then you are going to introduce the topic that you are going to speak about. And only after that, you can provide your information, you can provide your details related to the given topic. After writing all these things, when you are completing, when you are concluding your speech, you have to remember that you have to thank your audience. So, this format should be there when you are writing a speech. So, remember these things very carefully, then you will be facing this question very confidently. The next option will be either writing a story or a dialogue. In 2019, the students were asked to write a folk story that they are aware of. Or else, dear students, a certain part of a sentence is given and you have to build up your story based on the given part of the sentence. For example, it was a rainy day. So, your story has to be built upon the given part of the statement. So, that is one option. The other option is writing a dialogue. I have taken two examples from 2020 paper and 2021 paper. In 2020, a certain situation is given. Rizvi and Shenal are students. They are discussing what they did during the holidays. So, the first utterances are given. Rizvi is talking first. It was a long vacation, wasn't it? Shenal is answering, yes, how did you like it? So, the rest of the dialogue has to be built by you. And again, you have to think of the length, the number of words that you have to include in your dialogue when you are writing this dialogue. Look at the example taken from 2021 paper. What is the situation? Nimali meets Kumari at the annual book fair after a long time. They had been in the primary classes together in the school. Imagine how they would have shared their past experiences and complete the dialogue they had between them. මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයකදී දුවේ පුතේ අර ස්පීච් එකකදී ආටිකල් එකකදී එහෙම නැත්නම් එසේ එකකදී දෙනවා වගේ ගයිඩ්ලයින්ස් දීලා නැහැ. හැබැයි ගයිඩ්ලයින්ස් මේ අපිට දීලා තියෙන සිටුේෂන් එක ඇතුලෙන් අපිට හොයාගන්නට හැකි වෙනවා. For example, Nimali and Kumari, who are they? They had been in primary classes together. They had been in primary classes together in the school, and after a long time they are meeting at the annual book fair. So, they are talking about their past experiences. එතකොට අපි දන්නවා අපේ dialogue එකේ අපි ලියන්න ඕනි how they spent their primary days, their primary school days together in the same class, in the same school. මේක තමයි අපේ dialogue එකට අන්තර්ගත වන්න ඕන details නැත්තම් information. ඒ නිසා අපි dialogue එකක් ලියද්දී බොහොම කල්පනාකාරීව අපිට දීලා තියෙන සිටුේෂන් එක හොඳට කියවලා අවබෝධ කරගන්න ඕන මොනවා ගැනද අපි මේ ඩයලොග් එක ලියන්නේ කියලා. මම හිතනවා මේ පැහැදිලි කිරීම හොඳටම ප්‍රමාණවත් කියලා. So I'm revising again your speech, your article or your essay. There should be an introduction. Then there should be the body of your answer, so that is based on the guidelines given in the question. And there should be a very suitable, very appropriate conclusion. So after writing this, reread your composition, read it again and again for at least 2 times. And then you will check your errors. You will find your mistakes. Mistakes means the grammar mistakes, maybe the problems in your spellings, capitalization, punctuation. You have to be very careful about these things. And when you underline your grammar mistakes or when you circle your spelling, so when we are marking these papers, they will underline the grammar mistakes, we will circle the spelling mistakes. So therefore, when you find the grammar mistakes, underline and correct them. Circle the spelling mistakes and try to correct them before you hand over your paper to the teachers. Important points to the candidates. You should include facts according to the guidelines given in the question. Grammatically correct, meaningful and simple sentences should be written. And you have to organize your facts into paragraphs. And again, you have to use punctuation marks and capitalization appropriately. So let's talk about your marking criteria. So let's talk about your marking criteria. For your speech, for your essay, or for the article, the dialogue or the story, this is how your marking or this is how your marks will be given. For content, 5 marks. Language, another 5 marks. Organization, 3 marks. And for mechanics of writing, you will be given 2 marks. Content. If all points are included with sufficient facts, with required length of your writing or your composition, you will be given 4 to 5 marks. If most of the facts are included in your composition with the required length, you will be given 2 to 3 marks. If only a few of the facts are given, or if you have just attempted to write on the topic, or if your content, your description is not sufficient, you will be given 1 mark. If you have just copied the question, or if your writing is totally irrelevant, no marks will be allocated. What about your language? 4 to 5 marks will be given to the compositions with almost no errors, and they should be well connected sentences. There should be well connected sentences, good range of vocabulary and appropriate style. What about your language? 4 to 5 marks will be given to compositions with no errors at all, and they should be well connected, and there should be a good range of vocabulary, and they should be written in very appropriate style. If you write with some errors, and if your meaning is not clear at times due to language problems, but still you maintain a good range of vocabulary, you will be given 2 to 3 marks. If you write only a few corrected sentences, you are given only 1 mark. If all the sentences are not correct, very incorrect, you are not given marks. Organization. Well organized ideas with connected, meaningful paragraphs. And if you are writing a speech or a story, there should be very appropriate beginning and ending. If you fulfill all these necessities, you will be given 3 marks. Ideas are somewhat organized but not good, then you will be given 2 marks. If the ideas are not well organized, there is only 1 mark. Mechanics of writing. 2 marks will be given to compositions with no spelling errors, with correct punctuation and clear handwriting. If there are some errors or maybe a few errors in spelling and punctuation, but with clear handwriting, you will be given 1 mark. If your writing is not that clear, if the teachers cannot read your writing, there will be no marks. So dear students, this is how your writing will be evaluated at the GCE O-level examination. If you know how the marks are allocated, you can get ready with the required necessities. So this is what we all want you to go through and practice before the exam. The Department of English of National Institute of Education, Sri Lanka wishes you all the very best for the oncoming exam, and we hope that you will be facing the exam as very confident candidates and achieve high scores. Thank you and all the best everyone.